kasansilanganan, alam ng puso sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw. May dalagang tula at awit sa paglayang inamahal, ang kislap ng wataw at lu'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magniningning. Lupa ng araw ng walhati kong sinta, huwag langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga atis na pumatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Hi everyone. Hello, good morning and welcome to the Manila Times webinar hosted by yours truly, Susan Ople, and entitled Creating New Opportunities for OFWs. And we have a strong, vibrant lineup of guests, but let's start with an inspiring remarks from no less than someone I consider a very good friend, someone very familiar in the journalism profession, highly regarded, and is the president and CEO of the Manila Times. To welcome us all, let's give a silent round of applause to Dante Clink-Ang. Hi,
Thank
Dante.
you.
Hi, Clink.
Hi, Toots. So, Honorable Lina Sarmiento, TESA Deputy Director General, Mr. Brian Kang, the B Express Pro Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Raquel Espina Bracero, the PASEI President, Mr. Lito Villanueva, the RCBC Executive Vice President, my colleagues at the Times, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another business forum organized by the Manila Times, this one focusing on our modern day heroes. OFWs merit the national spotlight because, as we all know, they represent a key pillar of the Philippine economy. Their contribution to growth spanned decades and in fact cannot be appreciated enough. Before the pandemic, OFW remittances to their families here tallied about 25 billion annually. That helped propel the Philippines to become one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The steady cash injection has not only allowed the Philippines to grow a healthy foreign exchange reserve, it has also been a boon to domestic consumption, which accounts for about 70% of our gross domestic product. Then again, that was before COVID-19, which has claimed more than 1 million lives worldwide and counting. Worse, it has brought on a global recession that has not spared any country, including those that employ our OFWs. Since the coronavirus outbreak, many Filipinos working overseas have joined the ranks of the jobless. The total number may be hard to pin down, but from the news, we observe that tens and thousands have been repatriated to a homeland that is also struggling from the economic fallout from this health crisis. We notice because the economic contribution of OFWs is so significant that their well-being is a matter of national interest, if not a human concern. As it should be, the Philippine government was not without a response. Today, we hope to hear an update on the various government initiatives to help the OFWs, the placement agencies, and other stakeholders in their sector. Perhaps we should also hear about new measures and others in the pipeline. Clearly, those measures have to be aligned with the realization that COVID-19 is here to stay. Again, based on the news, a safe and effective vaccine may not materialize as soon as the world would like. Of course, there is a global rush to develop a viable vaccine, but even as we hope for a speedy delivery, prudence reminds us to be prepared for the worst, and that is for a longer than expected timeline. Also, we would be delighted for a robust economic rebound, especially now that the economies here and elsewhere are reopening. But it may be better to prepare for tough times to persist until the end of next year. After all, Europe is reporting signs of a second wave, and the arrival of autumn in the Northern Hemisphere also marks the traditional start of the flu season, which hopefully will not coincide with the resurgence of COVID cases. With that, many of us might ask, what now for the economic interest of OFWs? Indeed, what now for the country? These are some of the questions that we hope will be covered in today's presentations. Let me end here so that we may hear from our keynote speaker and reactors who can address these questions and related issues. But before I yield the screen, allow me to thank our sponsor, B Express Pro. I also wish to acknowledge our organizational partners, the Management Association of the Philippines, the Financial Executives of the Philippines, and the British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. Also, thank you to all those watching this event today, including those seeing this on the Manila Times website, on our Facebook page, and on the platforms of our media partner, the Manila Times TV. On a personal note, thank you to Ms. Susan Ople, ITUTS, of the Blas F. Ople Policy Center and Training Institute for moderating. It's good to see you up and about, given your other priorities. As usual, stories about the presentations today will be reported tomorrow in the Times, as well as in its digital edition, which is an exact replica of our newspaper and available on your personal computers and gadgets. We urge you all to subscribe to our digital edition, which is a convenient and affordable way to access the Manila Times, your news source of choice, trusted since 1898. Those who cannot watch the live stream this morning can access the video recordings that will be uploaded later on the YouTube and Dailymotion channels of the Manila Times. Good morning to you all, and now let us begin today's program.
Thank you, Klink. In one word, what you said, in one word, in Tagalog, syempre Bulacqueña ako, malaman. Malaman siya, and it really captures the flavor of the times, ano, and let's go forward because this is going to be a very interesting webinar / digital session. Klink mentioned the agencies that will be coming in or are already actively helping our OFWs. There is one agency in particular that has been consistently supporting our OFWs, may COVID man o wala. But this is like, you know, everyone is being forced to innovate. So we would like to hear from our speaker, from TESDA. Before I introduce her, let me just say, her CV is so interesting. Grabe, nung nabasa ko, I've met her in a few webinars, but when I read her CV, Click, did you know that she started her career as a forensic chemist at the PNP? Grabe, di ba? And then she was the chairperson of the Human Rights Victims Claims Board. So in her two positions, it was also always about access to justice. Now, TESDA Deputy Director General Lina Sarmiento will be all about access to jobs and access to skills training, because unemployment is really the worst form of injustice there is. So let's give the floor, let's welcome our good friend from TESDA, Deputy Director General Lina Sarmiento. We'll listen to her presentation, and after that, we will go on to the next speaker until the Q&A session will be formally open. But for now, let's listen to DDG Lina Sarmiento. Ma'am?
Maraming salamat, Madam Susan Ople, Mr. Klink Ang. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Let me share my screen. So on behalf of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, I would like to express my sincerest gratitude to the Manila Times for inviting us in this virtual forum for our overseas Filipino workers. Thank you for this opportunity given to TESDA to share with our kababayans the programs and initiatives that we have been doing for the benefit of our OFWs during these times that we are facing this COVID-19 pandemic. First, I would like to share with our kababayans that the TESDA and OFW community have always had a good relationship. We remember one of the 10-point socioeconomic agenda of our president, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte, is to invest in the human capital. In line with this, TESDA launched its reintegration program for returning overseas Filipino workers in November 2016. TESDA has always acknowledged the contributions of each and every OFW, helping make the country's economy steadier and more dynamic. OFWs are recognized everywhere because employers and businesses know that you readily bring with you the right skills to match your jobs. Even before the pandemic, we have the Overseas Assessment Program for our OFW kababayans in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Jeddah, Riyadh, and even in Qatar, Kuwait, Singapore, and Hong Kong. As the COVID-19 cases abruptly balloons to hundreds of thousands around the world, TESDA anticipated that the work of many of our OFW kababayans would be greatly affected. Hence, at the onset of the pandemic, Secretary Isidro La Peña has issued a clear directive to all TESDA regional, provincial, and district offices to prioritize the concerns of our OFWs. We have instituted and introduced new programs to reinforce our existing program and to find new ways on how we can continue to support our OFWs. We call this program TESDA Abot Lahat ng OFWs. TESDA Abot Lahat ng OFWs is the agency's flagship program focused on serving our returning overseas Filipino workers and their dependents through scholarship and retooling. This was an offshoot of the first consultation we had with the global OFW community last May 2020. Without the need to go to TESDA field offices, our OFWs, including their dependents, can now enlist themselves to various skills trainings that our agency offers through our available online platforms such as the TESDA mobile and TESDA website. The TESDA mobile app is downloadable from Google Play Store and App Store. At present, there are 6,020 OFWs have registered online for free skills training. During his State of the Nation address last July 2020, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte directed TESDA to retool our OFWs for employment or livelihood as they rebuild their lives again. In response to this presidential directive, TESDA immediately put in place OFW desk dedicated to attend and assist our OFWs in our regional and provincial offices. This is apart from the existing TESDA Malasakit centers or help desks located at the airports. You know, these TESDA Malasakit centers at the airports, they welcome our OFWs and give them flyers so that our OFWs would be aware of our programs. Now, the OFW desks, which we just created in all TESDA offices nationwide, they provide relevant information about TESDA programs and services to OFWs. They ensure that OFW clients are included in the TESDA scholarship programs, conduct inventory of skilled OFWs who can assist TESDA in the delivery of the trainings, because we know that we have many OFWs who are experts in their own fields, and they can help TESDA deliver the different kinds of training. And then the desk also coordinate with various OFW associations to promptly address various issues and concerns. For a more coordinated response, the provincial directors were likewise directed to closely coordinate with the provincial governors in the respective areas of concern. Ito kasi para po talagang malaman natin kung ano ang mga pangangailangan ng mga OFWs dun sa mga probinsya, because we know that the LGUs know their constituents better. Secretary La Peña also directed all TESDA offices to designate OFW focal persons or dedicated staff for this desk. So hindi lang may desk, talagang meron pong tao na nakatutok sa ating mga kababayang OFWs. Just recently, last September 23, we held a National Assessment Day for OFWs to launch the online registration for outbound OFWs. Ito napaka-importante because we know that we have many OFWs are awaiting to fly and work overseas. But the problem is because of the community quarantine level, they cannot be assessed, especially here in Metro Manila, because under IATF Resolution number 47, training and assessment can only be done when the area is under MGCQ. And since Metro Manila is still under GCQ, we cannot start with our assessment. But even then, we have launched this assessment day so that the OFWs who are really in need of assessment can enroll and we can get their profile so that we can provide the necessary assessment. We can even direct them to the appropriate assessment centers nearby because sabi ko nga, hindi nga pa pwede dito sa Metro Manila. So, very accessible po ang ating assessment ngayon at saka yung certification for OFWs, especially for domestic work, housekeeping, at saka yung pong sa ships catering. Itong mga ito po ang ating inuuna ngayon because we were told that there's a lot of OFWs waiting to be deployed. And the only requirement that is lacking is their NC, the national certificate. Okay, while there are many OFWs who returned home, there are also those who urgently need to undergo assessment. So ito po yun. So ito yung sinasabi ko, assessment available for qualifications which include domestic worker, NC2, ships catering services, NC1 and NC3, caregiving, NC2, and other usual courses for OFWs. We also introduced new ways on how our OFWs can be assessed during this time that various levels of community quarantines are in place. So if, for example, here in Metro Manila, since the assessment centers are closed and cannot operate due to the GCQ level, we directed our neighboring regions to host the assessment in cases of extreme necessity. We also introduced a portfolio assessment, and we initially, the required number of years for a person to be assessed via the portfolio assessment is 5 years. But starting 3 days ago, we relaxed this requirement. So from 5 years, we only need 2 years of work experience so that they can qualify for portfolio assessment. Portfolio assessment meaning you just have to submit documents or evidence of your experience and you don't have to undergo the actual assessment. We also have the online renewal of national certificates. We know that the national certificates expire every 5 years, but with the online renewal, you just have to prove that you have 2 years experience and you can renew the national certificate without going through the actual assessment. Because of our close coordination with the OFW community, we now have an ongoing training on scaffolding works inspection with a former OFW as a trainer. Ito po yung sinasabi namin because OFWs are experts in their own fields. This is one example. Si Engineer Bong, we met him during one of the Zoom conferences that we had with the OFW community. And he volunteered to help train our kababayans on scaffolding works inspection because according to him, this is very important. Now, this online training is attended by OFWs from different regions, also attended by former OFWs and those who are currently abroad. Yung pong nasa abroad, they attend the class every Friday. Yun namang dito sa Pilipinas, the class is from Monday to Thursday. So, hopefully, we will be able to multiply our trainers on scaffolding works inspection, which started with the cooperation with the former OFW. So we will continuously coordinate with various OFW groups and listen to their concerns, inquiries, and suggestions to further improve our services. Now, aside from these activities we have initiated for OFWs, I would also like to share to our kababayans that immediately upon the declaration of the enhanced community quarantine, TESDA immediately crafted TESDA Abot Lahat, Tibet towards a new normal. This contained the guidelines and policy directions in response to the ongoing crisis and the ways forward post-pandemic. At the onset of the pandemic, TESDA immediately responded by expanding and intensifying the TESDA online program, accessible via www.e-tesda.gov.ph. We actively promoted to the public these free and easily accessible online courses from TESDA. We now have 71 courses in our TESDA online program. So at the start of the community quarantine, we saw the sudden rise in the number of people registering in the platform. Until now, thousands of individuals in the country and Filipinos in foreign countries continue to enroll in this TESDA online program. Just to share with you the figures, from March to September, ganyan tumaas ang numbers, 954,472 registrants, and 75,802 of these are OFWs and their dependents. So there were 1,063,000 enrollees, so 494, almost 500,000 completers of courses. Because the TESDA online program is very accessible. You can, if you do not have time to finish it in one sitting, you can just resume your learning program later. So, and then at the end of the course, there's an exam, there's an examination, and if you pass, a certificate will be issued. And I know that there are many of our kababayans who enrolled in not just one course, but in several courses. In our TESDA online program, we have this top 10 most popular courses. So ito yung pinaka-favorite po ng ating mga kababayan, which is available. We also have a relevant and timely courses for added usefulness of the TESDA online program to the public. These are practicing COVID-19 preventive measures in the workplace, facilitating e-learning sessions, and performing proper waste management in the workplace. Now, to make TESDA online program more accessible, we have partnered with Globe Telecom so that Globe subscribers can access the TESDA online courses even without their data load. So talagang accessible po itong TESDA online program. The pandemic also prompted TESDA to develop competency standards for contact tracing. So meron po tayong contact tracing program. So this was developed together with the Department of Health and of course yung mga doctors from Baguio City who are instrumental in formulating the contact tracing program in the country. So we are now training trainers, not just contact tracers, but we are also training trainers of contact tracing so that we will be able to multiply and be able to contribute to this program of the government. So we have piloted this program in NCR, who batches already graduated, and most of them have been absorbed by the DILG. We are also endorsing other graduates to their respective local government units. We are also inviting displaced OFWs to avail of this free training. This can be a good alternative while they are waiting for other opportunities, whether here or abroad. So next week, we will open another program on contact tracing where the attendees or the participants are all OFWs. So apart from this, in line with our TESDA Bayanihan to beat COVID-19, we have also worked hand in hand to provide support to our kababayans. Secretary La Peña called on all TESDA TTIs in regional and provincial offices to help the country provide free face masks, disinfectants, and other personal protective equipment to those in need. We distributed this to the frontliners from the hospitals, health centers, barangays, LGUs, and even police officers and military at the checkpoints. As of September 23, ito po yung na-produce namin, almost 500,000 face masks, face shields, and then PPEs. Nananahi po ang mga taga-TESDA at saka yung aming mga dating scholars. So we also saw the need to help affected communities with their food supplies and quickly acted on it. So it's good that we have mini organic farms in all TESDA training centers. Ito po, we institutionalized the establishment of organic farms. Lahat po ng TESDA offices nationwide, merong organic farm, and we were able to harvest vegetables and other products in our organic farms and share them with the community. So, yan po. We also prepared food packs during the pandemic, no? So, I just would like to share to our kababayan yung additional support po ng TESDA sa ating trainees and scholars. They receive 160 pesos training allowance per day, 500 pesos internet allowance per course, 500 pesos health and PPE allowance per course, and there's a 1-year accident insurance. Dito po yung nakukuha ng ating mga kababayan. So, also, TESDA is also very much involved in barangay development projects. This is consistent with the government's trust on food security during the pandemic. Kasi po, yung TESDA is the lead agency on poverty reduction, livelihood and employment cluster ng National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, and being a member of the IATF Sub-Task Force Group on Food Security. We work with other government agencies and private partners in implementing development projects in priority barangays and in geographically isolated and displaced areas in all regions of the country. Some of the successful development projects that TESDA has launched, i-share ko lang po sa inyo. Ito talagang full value chain. Itong nasa Davao Region 11, this project aims to assist, protect, and sustain IP communities with Lead Tech Incorporated as AGAC Center operator and EHO Resources as processor, which buys pre-processed agri-products of the indigenous people. AGAC Center was first established in Prosperidad, Monte Vista, Davao de Oro, and is now replicated in 11 other locations in areas including Davao del Norte. TESDA Region 11 has also partnered with San Miguel Corporation in the implementation of other development projects. San Miguel Corporation initially provides chicks under the training co-production scheme and subsequently purchased them after 28 to 30 days. In Region 12, we have Project Pala or TESDA Alay ay Liwanag at Asenso. Ito naman po ay para sa mga walang ilaw. Benefiting at least 100 households in Sitio Blit, Barangay Ned in Lake Cebu. This is a very remote area. You have to walk 6 hours before you can go there. Wala pong kalye. So they were trained to install and maintain solar lights inside their homes. This is after 70 years of living without electricity. So finally, this place is now lighted. Now, in Region 8, meron naman kami AKA project or Agrikultura at Kabuhayan tungo sa Kaunlaran at Pangkapayapaan project. The beneficiaries of this program are former rebels in the Peace and Prosperity Village in San Isidro, Leyte. It's an ongoing project on integrated farming system. The village will soon become a food-secure community supplying high-value crops, poultry, and livestock to its nearby towns. In Region 30 naman, we have together with other partners, we have the Ibuan Enterprise Village, the IPs and other PR-LEC beneficiaries that have been provided with livelihood opportunities. So we assure the Filipino people, especially the OFWs, that TESDA will provide the necessary services and support to help them cope and recover from the pandemic. It is during this most difficult time that we have to do more for the people. TESDA is one with the nation. We will heal and recover as one. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Wow, thank you for that, DGG Lina Sarmiento. Ma'am, ang dami ko nang tanong. I have my questions written down, but I'm sure there are so many others. Our netizens are also listening in. We encourage you to please write down your questions. So walang senior moment, maalala nyo. We'll have a Q&A after all the presentations are done. Just as a side note, ako po magpapakatotoo. Sa Taliptip, Bulacan, TESDA has started training the residents that will be affected by the construction of the airport in partnership with San Miguel. So thank you po. Thank you, TESDA. Next, we'll go on, and it's so interesting. And I think we really should give credit to the government with all these new innovations, these new projects. Pakinggan naman natin, syempre, yung pinaka-tahanan ngayon ng mga OFWs, ano? The Department of Labor and Employment has sent to join us today and give updates on what the DOLE is doing to create new opportunities for OFWs. Unfortunately, Secretary Sylvester Bello III, syempre, duty calls. He has been called to a meeting by the IATF, but in his stead, we have one of the youngest USECs at DOLE, very vibrant, very dynamic, a good friend of mine, USEC Benjo Benavides, to join us. USEC Benjo, how are you? Good morning.
Hi ma'am, good morning po. Work from home po tayo.
O, diba? Bagets na bagets. Oo. Yeah, welcome.
Sa
And we'd be happy to hear your presentation, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Ma'am Susan, and of course to our colleagues in government, kay DDG Lina, as well as our friends from the media, especially from Manila Times, and of course our OFW. I was tasked by the secretary to read his message to the OFW through this platform organized by Manila Times. My principal was just asked to an equally urgent meeting. Of course, this is with respect to the plight of our workers, especially this time of pandemic. This time, we will be discussing matters on local employment because, as you know, economy is now opening up, business are now resuming. So we need to take good care of our local workers, especially by bringing them back to their work. But just the same, Ma'am Susan, let me share with you the thoughts of my principal regarding this forum on creating new opportunities for our OFW. To quote my principal, I would like to thank Manila Times for this opportunity to join you today. This is a very important gathering because we will talk about people who are close to my heart, the overseas Filipino workers. But first, let me congratulate the men and women behind one of the most respected newspapers in the land. I am not sure if Manila Times is the oldest publication in the country, but I can say it's the most trusted nowadays. Going back to our business for the day, our OFW. How do we create opportunities for them amid the pandemic? It is actually a tall order considering the many challenges brought about by the global health crisis. But I would like to start with saving their lives. Obviously, all opportunities no longer matter when one is already dead. Ika nga, aanhin pa ang damo kung patay na ang kabayo. So for me, the first opportunity we should present to an OFW in the face of a pandemic is the opportunity to live. The moment I heard that COVID-19 could spread fast and kill people around the globe, the OFWs immediately came into my mind. Sabi ko, this is big trouble for thousands of Filipinos working in different parts of the world. Imagine working in a foreign land, far away from family and friends. The government that is supposed to serve you is thousands of miles away. Then suddenly, a deadly virus breaks out. All kinds of restrictions, including those that prohibit travel, are in force. What do you do? What do we need to do? You will most probably look for an opportunity to go home because it's there where you will surely get help from your family, friends, and your government. It is in your own country that you will feel safe and secured, but you can't go home because of the lockdown. Opportunity to go home during the outbreak. That opportunity to many of our OFWs, especially those who were displaced in the Middle East. And the government has already repatriated more than 230,000 of our modern day heroes. And we brought them home in style. Free hotel accommodation, free COVID testing, free ride to their very home provinces so that they could immediately join their families. That's in style because very few governments in the world achieve that feat. In the Philippines, only the government of President Duterte was able to do beloved migrant workers. With the distressed OFW home, it is now time for the government to open another window of opportunity for them. Livelihood. Since they have no jobs, the government provided 20,000 livelihood assistance to each of the pandemic hit migrant workers so they can start a small business. I know it is not much compared to what they were receiving when they were still working, but it is actually an aid meant to merely ease the impact of the crisis. The crisis brought hard times, not only to our OFW, but also to government, which had to subsidize the needs and other displaced workers and even the requirements of employers so that they could stay up and preserve jobs. Despite these odds, the Labor Department tried to prioritize OFWs as much as possible. Aside from the livelihood assistance, each distressed OFW received 10,000 pesos from ACAP program. This is our one-time cash aid for migrant workers affected by COVID-19. So that's almost 30,000 financial assistance. With this amount, one can already put up a backyard business that could offer a very meaningful lift during this very difficult time. The other good thing about OFW is that when they come home, they bring with them the new skills and techniques they learned abroad. Imported ang kanilang kaalaman so that they have new ideas to offer. As such, they become more useful and needed in government projects, which offer another opportunity for our displaced migrant workers. Fortunately, our government has embarked on a massive infrastructure program called the Build, Build, Build. Since it is an undertaking that definitely requires a lot of manpower, I'm pretty sure that many of our OFWs can find jobs in these projects where they will be welcomed by the state with open arms. But in case you don't like construction, we can try other vacancies in government service, which are posted regularly in websites of various government agencies. The Department of Labor and Employment would be happy to assist them in this matter. Kung ayaw pa rin po nila ng iba pang trabaho sa gobyerno, may tulong po na maibibigay sa ating mga OFW. We will exhaust all means to help OFWs regain jobs they lost abroad. There is great opportunities that our OFWs will be rehired by their former employers as many economies around the world start to reopen. Many governments went ahead of us in easing restriction. Their industries are almost fully operational by now. They could recall our OFW anytime. If that happens, the Labor Department is committed to provide assistance required by OFW. The government is able and ready to engage with foreign governments in new policies on migrant workers with regard to safety and health measures against the deadly virus. In so doing, OFWs could be rehired en masse by economies that are fast recovering. On matters of status of overseas employment, comparing last year's deployment of 870,115 OFWs from January to May, this year's deployment is down by 47.10% to only 460,264 OFW. Travel restrictions and community lockdowns in the Philippines, as well as in destination countries, heavily affected the deployment of our workers. As an outcome of the pandemic, the need for essential services is pronounced more clearly over other industries. Certain job prospects, including occupations connected to transport and logistics, like trucking, hauling, delivery, and air cargoes in Europe and America, will continue to be in demand. This is also true to those in the seafaring professions, especially those vessels for movement of goods bulk and cargo will continue to be in demand. The changing world will depend on unhampered delivery of raw materials, food supplies, and other essential inputs for manufacturing. Due to the pandemic, demand for foreign workers, such as doctors, nurses, radiologists in the United Kingdom has increased as reported by Polo London. Accordingly, there is an initial need for 50,000 nurses in the United Kingdom. Other categories of workers that are in demand are psychologists, occupational therapists, archaeologists, web designers, artists, expert in animation, visual effects, and computer gaming. Guam, for one, continue to hire Filipinos, skilled and semi-skilled workers. There is an increasing request from accredited employers under the construction sector in Guam for job orders and employment contract verification according to the polos of Los Angeles. In recent report by Polo Qatar, the Qatari government and companies intend to hire Filipino workers before the end of 2020, especially mechanics, electricians, insulators, gun operators, divers, AC technicians, upholsterer, electricians, and welders for the military base and border patrols. Recently, our president granted the request of the department to allow healthcare workers with complete documents as of the 31st of August to leave the country. With this deployment, a maximum of 1,200 medical professionals are expected to be deployed. After a few months, flights are being allowed and offices in the public and private sectors are finding ways to continue their operations while minimizing exposure from COVID-19. With initiatives as the Green Lane for seafarers and streamlining of online application and processing of documents, the deployment of OFWs is expected to be revived in strict compliance with health protocols in place. While the pandemic has brought us to a point of uncertainty, with hundreds of thousands of OFWs being affected, and in turn, their families here in the Philippines suffering as well, the department continues to protect the rights of our OFWs by ensuring employment recovery plan. The plan aims to help stimulate the economy by assisting employers to preserve existing employment, create new jobs, while at the same time ensuring workers' protection and welfare, both overseas and local. It also seeks to create an enabling environment for employment generation as a whole of government strategy for government and our society to recover our economy. The plan provides a menu of policies and programs anchored on the bounce back plan for post-quarantine scenario. Our recovery is in progress, and should there be suggestions and recommendations on other opportunities of our OFW in the new and hopefully better normal, they are most welcome. Together, we will strive, and together, we will overcome and survive. Maraming salamat po. To our OFWs, to the organizers, yun po ang mensahe ng aming Secretary of Labor, Secretary Silvestre H. Bello III. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Yusek Benjo. And I hope you can stay around because we'll be discussing a lot of things, and I'm sure there are some viewers that would be interested to ask questions. Would that be all right, Yusek?
Yes, ma'am. Yes po.
Yan, oo, thank you. And as you said, let's bounce back better, ano? Right now, let's just remind our viewers and everyone and be grateful. First Friday nga pala ngayon, ano? Let's be grateful also for the partners that made this event possible and our sponsor, B Express Pro. Thank you so much. And our organizational partners, British Chamber of Commerce Philippines, MAP, or the Management Association of the Philippines, and Phoenix. So maraming salamat po sa inyo. So from the government side, we now go to the private sector side. Thank you again, Yusek Benjo. And alam mo, Yusek, yung susunod natin speaker also came from Dole, ha? anak ng Dole ito. And she
Dole
worked,
family po pala, ma'am.
yes, oo. She worked for Dole from 1986 to 1992. She's now, of course, one of the leading lights, the president of PASE, which is the oldest recruitment industry association. Hindi siya ang oldest, yung PASE ang oldest, pero siya ay forever young. So now let's listen to a stakeholder, a private sector stakeholder, and someone who's been around Dole and someone who's been leading the recruitment industry for quite some time. Also a social worker. That's her background. And we'd like to welcome Ms. Raquel Pina Bracero, President of the Philippine Association of Service Exporters, Inc., or PASE. Hi, Raquel. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Toots. Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody, to our office officials from the Department of Labor, from TESDA, and also to the organizers, Mr. Dante Ang, and also the other officers and staff of Manila Times. And also, good morning to my fellow PRAs who are now watching, and also to our bagong bayani, our client, the OFWs, and also sa lahat na nanonood ngayon. I am here to tackle kung ano ho ba ang nagawa at ginagawa ng mga private recruitment agencies in this time of pandemic. So allow me to share my screen. Ano? Screen. Ano? Start. Double click. Hmm? So, anong gagawin? Ha? Double click. Ano? Sorry. Okay. Allow me to introduce our association, the Philippine Association of Service Exporters, Inc. We're one of the largest association of recruitment agencies, licensed recruitment agencies, and we have about 300 members. And who is PASE? Well, the vision of PASE is as being the leading association of the service exporters committed to best practices, helping its members build their capacity for global challenges. And its mission is to enhance the relationship between the OFWs and their families vis-a-vis the general purposes of the organization and the specific goals of its members within the environment and context of the overseas employment industry, while promoting the best practices in labor migration. Ano po ang mga nagawa ng PASE at ginagawa pa ngayon during the pandemic health crisis? Last March 17, during the abrupt lockdown in Metro Manila and elsewhere in the Philippines, brought a sudden stop of all businesses. One of the major sectors that is seriously hit is the overseas employment. It has been 6 months since the harshest community quarantine was imposed over the entire Philippines as a measure to arrest the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Through the brilliant minds of the PASE board and its members, we thought of ways to keep in touch with our members and with our deployed OFWs. Okay. Luckily, before the pandemic, PASE was holding already roundtable discussions. It was once a month, but during the lockdown, we decided to have the virtual RTDs to resume to keep our members abreast on issues affecting the overseas employment industry and the OFWs. At the onset of the lockdown, everybody's concern was basically how to make ends meet for the employees and for business operations itself. Saving lives and keeping people safe and healthy, including those of our deployed OFWs, became the top priority of every responsible businessman in our industry. So we conducted some roundtable discussions, and these are some of our guest speakers during our roundtable discussions. Our Secretary of Labor, Secretary Sylvester Bello, our OWA Administrator, our Hans Kakdak, PUA Administrator Bernard Olalia, and we have DDG Bertis from TESDA, and then we have from the Supreme Court Justice Raul Villanueva, and then we have also from the banking sector, from the DBP and the Land Bank, and many more. What were the various topics that were taken during our RTD? One is dole compliance guidelines for employees and employers' benefits. Many of our members had suffered a lot. That's why there are some who temporarily closed their businesses, some permanently closed their businesses, and most are working work from home. So we guided them on what to do on their employees and staff. And then health and wellness during the lockdown. We know that everybody was suffering from depression. So we decided to conduct this roundtable discussion, not only for our members, but also for the staff, and especially the welfare officers handling the distressed workers. So that, because at that time, during this time, and especially in the early onset of the lockdown, we received several calls from our OFWs that we deployed abroad. So we have to know to train our staff on how to deal about it. And then Corona-19 virus information. Everybody at the start don't know what is this Corona-19 virus. So we conducted an information roundtable discussion in the okay. And then the post-pandemic world. So we invited the guest speaker to discuss with us what is instilled on us after this pandemic. What do we expect? And then restarting business with the COVID business packages. So we discuss about the Department of Labor assistance on the staff, on the employees, private employees. So kasama po dyan yung aming mga staff. And then SSS, and then PhilHealth offers, and business operations guide, which includes the financial supports, loans. That's why we have the Land Bank and the Development Bank of the Philippines. And then information dissemination on new normal rules and processes in PUA, then the policies on IATF, OWA, and other overseas employment concerned agencies. And then we have addressing future effects of repatriation on the overseas employment and on the overseas Filipino workers. So alam mo natin na marami pong na-repatriate. So ang PASEI po ay had to deal on this and how we should answer and face on the repatriation of our OFWs. And then PASEI also had regular attendance in Congress and Senate hearings on repatriation of seamen and land-based workers, even during the pandemic. So we submitted position papers in assistance to quarantine places and other quarantine related concerns. Also, PASEI had close coordination with PUA on new normal processes and procedures to ease recruitment in anticipation of the lifting of the deployment. PASEI also contributed to OWA's feeding activity of quarantined and repatriated OFWs. So we donated lunch packs or food packs, including the provisions for local transportation to bring them back to the provinces, and donations of PPEs to repatriated OFWs. And dialogue with our Department of Labor Secretary, Secretary Bello, the various labor attaches to keep us updated on the conditions of OFW abroad as part of the continued monitoring of OFWs on site. To date, PASEI has already conducted 67 RTDs. Aside from the roundtable discussion, PASEI is one of the provider on pre-departure orientation seminar. Before the pandemic, PASEI has 2 venues daily conducting the pre-departure orientation seminar. But then, this pandemic, we only have now 1 PIDOS online under the new rules and regulations of OWA. And in this, under the new rules of and regulations of OWA, we can only have 80 participants per session, and it takes about 4 hours to 5 hours session. And that 80 participants, only 78 are OFWs. The 2 are reserved for the staff of OWA who comes in to check and observe. Okay. These are some of our online PIDOS attendees. Most at the start, most of the participants are coming from the sea-based sector. No, so our seamen. And another activity that our association had done to support our members and also for the OFWs that we deploy is the Kamustahan sa PASEI. This Kamustahan PASEI is composed, it's a small group actually of members of PASEI, like 15 to 20 members. And there in that Kamustahan, we discuss more intimate experiences on what happened to our business, what happened to our OFWs, and especially on the distressed OFWs. We share our experiences so that others can also learn from it. So it's really a support group in that Kamustahan sa PASEI. So these are some of the pictures of our Kamustahan sa PASEI with the members of the association. And another activity that we are doing is consultation with stranded nurses and their deploying agencies. So at the start of the ban, PASEI right away organized the healthcare worker sending members into desks according to the countries of destination. So we have a desk for Germany, we have a desk for UK, the Middle East, Asia, US, and other European countries. This is for easy communication and monitoring of new developments per country. And aside from that, during this pandemic and during the ban of deployment of healthcare workers, stranded nurses were asking why, so many whys. So PASEI organized a consultation with the stranded nurses with their deploying agencies to explain, to bridge the gap of the miscommunication, and to explain the process on what is happening both here in the Philippines and on their country of destinations. And so far, we were successful in bridging the gap between the stranded nurses and the deploying agencies. And this is still an ongoing consultation meetings. So these are some of our consultation meetings with the nurses. And before the lockdown, PASEI has a publication, quarterly publication, what we call Dayo Buhay OFW, where we features like our Bagong Bayani awardees and our officials like the ambassadors of the different countries, especially those countries that PASEI had gone marketing missions, and also our Philippine ambassador. And also we have also our government officials like Secretary Bello and other officials were also in that Bagong Buhay. And also our CSR, which is one of our CSR is Kalinga, which is Kain Ligo ng Ayos. This is for the homeless in Metro Manila, and it is run by the SVD congregation. So we support this project. Looking forward to another decade of service. Moving forward, PASEI suggested to OWA that online PIDOs be conducted when the seamen deployment resumed last June 2020. The mechanics were designed and submitted to OWA, and at present, PASEI has already conducted 37 online PIDOs. The pandemic condition of migration has totally changed the temporary ban for the deployment of healthcare workers, which include our frontliner nurses, doctors, and other allied medical professions, have greatly affected their livelihood. The government thinks that the deployment of the healthcare workers would make us lose a huge number of frontliners that the country needs. Records would show that there are only very few healthcare workers that were deprived of deployment due to the lockdown. Many of the registered nurses are working in call centers or are in other unrelated jobs, which gives them higher salaries. PASEI has submitted in support on the total lifting of the ban. PASEI in June submitted a position paper requesting for the total lifting of the healthcare workers deployment ban with the IATF and other government agencies like the Department of Labor, PUAE, and the Department of Health, reiterating the need to start deployment not only for the nurses, but to all healthcare workers to be able to help start up the economy through the remittances of the group of healthcare workers. We have requested PUA to activate online processing of OECs and accept the processing of new job orders and renewal or additional job orders to prevent future backlogs once more foreign markets open up. To assist its members in complying with the new requirements on the conduct of RT-PCR tests for all departing OFWs to host countries which have opened up their borders, like Saudi Arabia, which they opened up last week, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Guam, Saipan, and Europe. PASEI partnered with the Philippine Red Cross in order to facilitate the scheduling of the OFWs of our members and also the release of the health certificate, which is between 24 to 48 hours per our memorandum of agreement. Okay. Post-pandemic climate, Pasay will continue its quest to open new markets for the OFWs for better paying jobs abroad with better employment security, terms and conditions through its marketing missions. Pasay had been doing marketing missions like for Europe. Pasay was the one who opened up the Eastern Europe markets. For the last 6 years, we've been doing marketing missions twice a year. So supposed to be we have two marketing missions for this year, but because of the pandemic, we have to shelve it. So hopefully after the pandemic, we will be able to continue our marketing missions in countries that offers good paying jobs and better employment security terms and conditions of our OFWs. Questions on how we can balance saving lives from saving livelihood will still be the questions that will continue to be asked months from now, but there is there are positive effects that we can learn from the pandemic. Competition in the industry will become friendly. More agencies will practice and enforce ethical recruitment by abiding with the rules and regulations and be selective with the employers and workers that they recruit. Why? Because of the strict requirements on health protocols of the host countries. And we see also illegal recruitment, human trafficking activities will slow down, hopefully eradicated, because of the strict requirements on health protocols of the host countries. In closing, and looking forward to another decade of service, Pasay shall continue to work in achieving its advocacies, leading to the practice of ethical recruitment in the industry. Because Pasay, this year is its 40th year, so we are celebrating our Ruby celebration. We are grateful to the loyalty and support of our growing members. We thank our pre-departure orientation seminar partners and affiliates, our NGO partners, and the international associations like the ILO, IOM, and other international service provider associations, and government institutions who believe in us, and to my board of directors who devote their valuable time and talent each year to help us fulfill our vision and mission as we look forward to the future with hope and inspiration for our OFWs. Thank you and stay safe, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this very important forum. Magandang umaga po.
Yes, thank you, Raquel, and for that very informative presentation. I guess all sectors have their respective challenges. And I know that Pasay has always been in constant dialogue with DOLE, especially POEA and OWA. So from the recruitment industry, we now go to a very up and coming, or is it not talagang it's quite very progressive industry. And we have as guest someone known as Mr. Fintech because of his over 20 years of experience in banking, telecom, financial technology, and he is the Chief Innovation and Inclusion Officer of RCBC, the Chief Digital Transformation Advisor of the Yuchenko Group of Companies, and a Thomasian, just like me. So I'd like to welcome and let's listen to Mr. Lito Villanueva. Hi, Lito. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, and thank you, Toots. Yes, and of course, I would like to thank the organizers, of course, led by Manila Times, in partnership with Phoenix, with MAP, and of course, our keynote speakers from Dole and TESDA, and of course, from Pasay. Let me now share with you my screen, so for a brief presentation. Can you now see my screen? Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, in reaction to what our other speakers have stated earlier, I think this is now an opportunity for us to share the initiatives from the private sector, specifically in the areas of digital transformation. Given the fact that, of course, what was stated earlier by TESDA Deputy Director General Lina about PRRD's statement or mandate of going full digital across financial transactions in the Philippines. No? And of course, what we will now be sharing with you would be how digitalization has actually been accelerated, especially during the pandemic. No? So in fact, we have launched what we call Discartech, which is the country's first Taglish inclusion super app. So I just would like to make mention of this because this was very significant as well in the drive towards digital transformation, given that the Department of Labor and Employment came up with a labor advisory number 26, encouraging and enabling all private establishments to pay their workers' wages through transactional accounts. Now, having said that, as I've said, Discartech is a fusion of two words, no, from the word discarte and technology. So, of course, there are, Discarte could be, the a way by which we can show to the world, no, how resilient Filipinos are amidst all of this crisis, no, may it be man-made or natural, because of course you know that we are being visited by almost 20 typhoons in a year. We have volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and now this pandemic. And yet, Filipinos, especially our mga bagong bayani, our overseas Filipinos, are really resilient when it comes to facing all of these challenging times. Now, as I've said, this Cartech mobile app, no, because right now we have almost 200 mobile apps existing in the Philippines and over 4 million worldwide. No? So this Cartech is aimed towards practically providing that enablement for our more than 50 million adult Filipinos who are considered to be unbanked or underserved. So among the functionalities of this Cartech would be providing in a high interest for your deposits at 3.25%, cash in and cash out across 30,000 touch point locations nationwide. And right now we are giving it for free for fund transfers. No, we have extended the free transfers until end of the year. And then bills payment, government payments. You could also do airtime top up, and also that's why I would like to. The focus of my discussion this morning would be on how we can provide alternative livelihood for our displaced OFWs, because of course we know that we have hundreds of thousands of overseas Filipinos who are now back in the Philippines because of COVID-19. And of course, this is also an app that has a telemedicine functionality, making it relevant, responsive to the needs of the current times. And of course, insurance. And soon, within the quarter, we will also be providing loans marketplace, enabling or allowing Filipinos to have capabilities to apply for loans depending on their requirements, and of course, skills marketplace. Now, just to give you a snapshot of what insurance products that are actually inside the Discartech app, wherein you can buy this insurance for as low as 20 pesos, and you can now be insured for a period of 6 months, and you will be covered, you'll be covered, and of course your beneficiaries will be your loved ones for as much as 20,000 pesos. So kumbaga if you are buying lotto ticket, di ba? So lotto ticket now is more than 20 pesos because meron ng DST, no? Documentary stamp tax. But this one, 20 pesos, you are covered for 6 months, no? So the whole concept is about how to sachet financial services, no? Ito yung tingi, no? Because of course the Philippine economy, or in terms of culture, Filipinos are so used to sari-sari store or the tingi economy. No? Now, of course, when we're supposed to launch this card tech last March 18, but we had to postpone it because ECQ was declared by government on March 16, or 2 days after, or 2 days before our launch. So therefore, we had to postpone it, and it gave us time to pivot and to come up with other innovations or other features that would make it relevant to the current times. Now, no less than BSP Governor Diokno, tweeted and posted this tweet about this Discartec and how it actually contributes to the promotion of financial inclusion and digital literacy in the country. And just to show you a brief video about this Discartec for you to be able to fully understand what it's all about, please watch this.
This is your partner sa pag-asenso. This is Discartec, a fusion of grit and enabling technologies the Filipino way. The country's first inclusion super app that hosts a suite of app-based financial services na nagbibigay ng hassle-free access sa mga financial services, pangkabuhayan, pati na rin healthcare access through our partner digital clinics nationwide through your smartphones sa angmang sulok ng bansa. You know, Discartec features a fun, convenient, and accessible interface na hindi ka mano-nosebleed. Dahil ito ang kauna-unahang taglish mobile app sa bansa. Dahil easy to use at easy to understand ito. Hindi lang yan. Depende sa diskarte mo, pwede mo nang planuhin ang mga pag-iipunan mo. Sa Discartec, may hashtag buhay ginhawa na gabay sa kung ano mang gusto mong life goals. Makabili ng motorsiklo, bagong cellphone, pang tuition ni Junior, o pang travel sa Japan o Boracay. Wala pang ilang minuto, meron ka ng Discartec Savings Account. Ang bilis, di ba? Pwede ka mag-deposit na kikita pa dahil sa mataas na interes, withdraw sa libo-libong outlets nationwide, o cardless ATM withdrawal at mag-transfer ng pera anytime. Magbayad ka na rin ng mga bills o gaya ng inyong passport renewal, NBI clearance at iba pang government billers. And soon, pati loans and insurance meron na din ang Discartec. San ka pa? At dahil madiskarte ka, pwede mo ring pagkakitaan ito sa iyong barangay gamit ang cellphone mo. Pwede kang madiskarteng negosyantek na serbisyohan ang mga kapitbahay mong wala pang smartphone o walang data access. Di na kailangang magpunta sa kung saan pa. Pwede nang makibayad sa iyo ng utility bills or government payments o magpa-load kasama na e-game pins. At kumita ng extra at marami pang iba. E di, sang ka pa? Lahat kasama. You know? And later on, magkakaroon na rin ng skills marketplace to help promote ang pangkabuhayan mo. This is Discartec.
Yan po ang story. Yan po yung Discartec. And of course, to show you, the profile of our users, about 60% of the users of Discartec right now are women, and majority of them would be in the age range of 21 to 45 years old. And the good news is that 70% of our subscribers would be outside Metro Manila. And you will also be surprised that across all 17 regions in the country, including BARM, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, Muslim Mindanao, we have Discartec users as well, because our monthly active user is now at 65%. And of course, this is also one of the first taglish chatbot available in the market to ensure that by 24/7, all questions of our kababayan, especially our overseas Filipinos, would now be able to be answered. And as I've said, from the time that we launched this in July, in a matter of 2 months, we were able to hit more than 2 million downloads. And in fact, we even became number 1, beating other existing mobile apps in the country. So ito yung mainit na pagtanggap ng publiko sa produktong Discartec. Because a lot of them, was able to generate an alternative income, because while they are confined in their homes during the hard lockdown, they are now earning from it out of the referral program of Discartec. And with that, just to show you, this would be the monthly, presentation of how the other mobile apps fare during the pandemic. No? So when we launched in July, we were number 4, and the following month we emerged to be number 1. And again, Discartec has transformational stories as well. No? So these are some examples of how they were able to transform this pandemic into practically opportunities. No, so one of whom would be si Beckia, no, who lives in Naik, Cavite. In fact, she was even featured in Itbulaga. She made use of the ayuda that was disbursed to her, and made use of Discartec for her store, no, yung selling e-load, no, business. And of course, itong si Lizelle, who happens to be living in Isabela province, also was able to generate more than 35,000 pesos during the first 2 months, no? And ginamit niya yung pera niya sa pagbili ng 2 cellphone for her and para sa kanyang kapatid for the online distance learning education, no? So kumbaga, you could now see the positive outcomes of this Discartec. And of course, as I've said, no, we have extended the free InstaPay transfer until end of the month, until end of the year. And ito nga, no, yung savings nyo, you can now put your savings. You can open the account without any requirement for initial deposit, no maintaining balance, so hindi ko kayo charge. So pag may pera kayo, pwede na kayo magpasok ng pera at ikikita pa ang inyong savings. Because remember, this is a savings account. This is a bank account, no? So, of course, we also had an engaged partnership with DTI Secretary Mon Lopez. Of course, the partnership is more about how to digitalize our over 1.3 million sari-sari stores nationwide, and also to enable estimated 7 to 8 million informal home-based online sellers, no? So that's why we partnered with a lot of NGOs and LGUs, no, nationwide, such as, for example, Liga ng Barangay National President, with Ka-Entrep, and PASCO, the Philippine Association of Sari-Sari Stores and Carinderia Owners. And of course, we also had a partnership with EcoLife this last month, no, to provide alternative and digital livelihood to display 600,000 overseas Filipinos and their families. So the one you're looking, you're seeing on your screen would be our president, Eugene Acevedo, and of course, my Ano Nuevo of Atica and EcoLife. So, what would be the coverage of this engagement? So they will have EcoLife mobile stores with OFW entrepreneurs, no. So ito yung tinatawag naming pakisuyo, no. Using our digital platforms. Yung pakisuyo, ito yung pakiload, pakibayad, pakipadala, pakibili, pakihulog, and pakikuha. And this will now be performed by those OFWs who are now back in the Philippines while waiting for them to be again assigned overseas. Now, we also had a partnership with DTI Negosyo Centers on how we can also educate and enable and engage our micro entrepreneurs, ating mga madiskarteng Pinoy, on how they can come up with their own negosyante businesses, no? So during the pandemic. So, of course, the eligibility is that you should be a Filipino, 18 years old and above. Of course, you should have a smartphone. Alam natin that Philippines would now have over 65 to 70% smartphone penetration, and any telco provider. And of course, you have to have at least one valid government ID. And just to give an example, ito nga, empowerment begins at home. No, this would be my household helpers. So we are now giving their wages through Discartec. No, so in fact, the one at the center, ay tinuloy-tuloy niya. At in fact, meron na siyang nagbebenta siya ng load at bills payment, and she's earning about 500 pesos daily, no? So ganun kalakas yung kanyang e-load business, no? So yun nga, habang siya nagtatrabaho sa amin at meron pa siyang extra kita out of this Cartec. And of course, you could also do the same thing na without you having to set up your own kiosk or sari-sari store, you can do it on your own free time. Ito yung sasabi ko kanina, yung pakisuyo. No? Of course, pakisuyo or yung pakikisama, yung paki is practically one of the Filipino values that we also treasure. Ito yung nakagawi ang pagpapamalas ng malasakit sa bawat isa. So I think most of you would be more familiar with those signages that you see normally in merchants or restaurants na payments accepted here. So of course, in keeping with our thrust of really doing it in Taglish, kasi nga sabi natin, bawal ang nosebleed sa Filipino, na para mas lalong maintindihan nila ang instructions sa Taglish, kasi nga it's an everyday language anyway. So ang sabi natin, pakisuyo dito. So sabi ko nga, sa mga tindahan, makikita nyo ang mga ganitong mga karatula. And of course, ito yung example, no? We run a campaign about this in partnership with DTI, so you will be seeing a lot of this nationwide. At ito yung isa, ito sabi ko kanina, yung isang kasambahay namin. So meron na siya ngayong maliit na sari-sari store na kumikita rin siya doon sa kanyang sari-sari store, no? Na ang lahat ng ito ay nag-order sa kanya through this Cartec, no? And of course, we also rolled out our engagement or our community engagement, this time with Litex Market, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, public market in Quezon City. No? So sila sa palengke, nagbabayad na rin sila kasi nga 'di ba yung physical cash kasi sabi nila it's a vector of disease, 'di ba, na talagang hindi siya safe dahil pwede siyang mag-transmit yung virus through the physical cash. And of course, sabi nga natin, isang kembot lang may kita agad sa Discartec, kaya nga kung masipag ka lang, maparaan ka lang, at maganda yung diskarte mo, talagang kikita ka. So that's why we have all of these features in place for our negosyante. So just to give you an example, ano ba yung pwedeng kitain sa Discartec? No? So this will just give you a snapshot of how much you will be able to earn out of this. So now, meron kaming dalawang tiyatawag na profile, no? Isa kang ikaw ba'y rumaraket o kumakarir. Kung rumaraket ka, pwede kang kumita ng mga 4,000 kada buwan. At kung ikaw ay kumakarir naman, pwede kang kumita ng hanggang 21,000 pesos. So depende sa diskarte mo yan. So depende sa sipag mo, depende sa kapakanan mo at sa kakayahan mo, na sabi nga natin, ang Pilipino ay ikaw mismo magde-define o magsasabi o magde-determine ng iyong destiny, di ba? Ng iyong, kung ikaw ba'y masipag, kung ikaw talaga matyaga, ay talaga namang maayos ang iyong buhay. So that's why, depende man kung ikaw ay rumaraket o kumakarir, lahat talaga tang Pilipino ay aasenso. That's why, napakinggan ko yung representation ni Deputy Director General Lani, TESDA, no? So, and of course, sa PASEI, no? Sana inisip ko nga kung if we could have a potential collaboration with TESDA and PASEI, while the TESDA mobile app now has, that offers skills training and free assessment. I hope we could have this collaboration where this Cartec now could provide alternative livelihood, insurance, the 3.25 interest on savings, bills payment, fund transfer, government payments, telemedicine, and of course, within this quarter, last quarter of the year, yung loans marketplace at skills marketplace. So I hope we can, after this call or after this session, we could also have this collaboration, because at the end of the day, it is more of a public-private partnership with the aim of really providing the assistance to our overseas Filipinos. And of course, just to give you the things that we've been doing, no, in terms of really pushing massively digitalization in the Philippines. In fact, we started our disbursement of digital. We started our digital disbursements during the hard lockdown, no, as early as March. No, ito nakita niyo sa screen na to. Ito ay nagaganap sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas. Yung the photo at the center, ang tawag ko dyan, cash on a stick. No, napaka innovative, napaka-creative ng Pinoy. So gumawa siya ng yung perang binibigay niyang cash, binibigay niya through a stick, no? So para hindi siya, para mayroong social distancing protocol. At may may it be in rugged terrain, mountainous areas, or even in coastal towns, our platforms are actually available through our payout partners, and our payout partners would include rural banks, MFIs, co-ops, and even sari-sari stores or pawn shops all throughout the country. So these are some of the examples or some of the photos taken during the actual payout. No? So talagang blockbuster ang ating ayuda program, no? Especially for our 4Ps or Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program by DSWD. At ito naman din, isa rin yung aming ginawa na ayuda arangkada. So this was actually a photo taken in Negros Occidental, na kahit si Manong na hindi na makalakad, talagang we actually went to his place just to provide the ayuda from the government and be able to, of course, report that and, document all of those disbursements. Because, again, the whole idea is on how to quickly disburse those funds and how it could be reported transparently as part of government requirements. Now, again, these are some of the photos, additional photos of us being able to disburse all of those social amelioration program funds or cash emergency subsidy to about 18 million families nationwide. So far, in our case, we were able to disburse to about 4.5 million families. No, ito yon. So 2.4 million families covering about 12 million individuals. So we were able, so far as of end of September, we have disbursed 9.1 billion pesos, no, through the digital platforms. And of course, with that, we were given 3 awards, no, during the pandemic. No, for a period of 3 months, we were able to get 3 global recognitions. No, and of course, we are very this is very gratifying. We are very thankful to the award-giving bodies for recognizing all our efforts with the purpose of really helping the Filipinos, face these difficult times. No? And with that, thank you so much and good morning to everyone. So I hope we can download the Discartech app for all our viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Calito. And I hope you also consider a partnership with the Blasef Ople Policy Center, my
of course,
NGO.
Of course.
Yes. Because
syempre nakalimutan ko sabihin din, of course, pareho tayong Tomasino at pareho tayong Bulakenyo.
Talaga? Saan ka sa Bulacan?
Bulacan, yung daddy ko. Yeah.
Bulacan.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Ople Center has a partnership with the US-based Global Fund to End Modern Slavery, and we are actually helping yung mga na-repatriate natin OFW. So we'd be very much interested. Kasi ang ganda ng pangalan,
Discartech.
Oo, and Pinoy na Pinoy. So thank you, Calito. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions for you later on.
Thank you.
Again, let me thank our sponsor, B Express Pro, and our organizational partners for the Manila Times Creating New Opportunities for OFWs webinar, namely the British Chamber of Commerce Philippines, Management Association of the Philippines, and PNEX. And now we have one final speaker before we open the floor or the platform to all questions and comments. And this is from Mr. Brian Kang, the CEO of B Express Pro. Hi, Brian.
Hi, good morning, Ma'am Susan.
Hello. Okay, so the platform is yours.
Okay. Thank you for joining me here this morning. I'm Brian from B Express. My goal today is to help you to understand what is cryptocurrency, how you can use it as remittance and as an investment. Also, during my talk this morning, I will provide you with some background about our company and why is it so important to present here our service. Before we proceed, I'd like to share with you a short video presentation that will explain simply what is blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Reversible, unlike in chargeback transactions permitted by
Brian, I think there's no sound.
Yes, they are checking the system now. The video have no sound now.
Okay. While they're fixing it, just a reminder, gentle reminder to our listeners, viewers, please prepare your questions because after Brian's presentation, we'll be opening the floor to your questions and comments. Okay, back to you, Brian.
Let's go. Yes. Okay, let's move to the next slide. The contents of this slide is graphical data of OFW remittances in millions in US dollars. Cash sent home by Filipinos living and working abroad hit 29.7 billion US dollar on year 2016. There's a 5.33% increase in the remittances in year 2017 by recording 31.29 billion USD. The remittance continuously to rise in year 2018 and 2019 by 32.2 billion US dollar and 33 billion 467 million US dollars. In this section, I will summarize what our companies are about. B-Express Inc. is licensed and regulated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. We applied for the license way back year 2017. We are able to get the provisional license to operate since year 2018 to present, and we were granted 4 licenses last month. We have our main office located in the Asiana Power Station. If you frequently go to the DFA Asiana, which is located along Macapagal Boulevard, for passport application or renewal, you might saw our office that is located just in front of the DFA. Feel free to visit us there if you want to know more about the company. We offer free offline tutorials on how to trade and how to sign up and what are the requirements. Aside from the free offline tutorial, we also have the 24/7 live chat support. If you have any question or complaints, you can visit our website and send your message there. Usually, the support representative will get back to you within 1 to 3 minutes. For our product, B-Express Pro, it is an online trading platform for buying and selling Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. You can access it in web and in mobile application. It was developed by our in-house tech team. They are also the same tech team who developed the stock exchange trading platform in South Korea. Just to let you know, we are the only company who have an online crypto trading platform that is a web and in mobile applications, since we want our platform to be more accessible anytime, anywhere. One of our most convenient part when using B-Express Pro is you don't have to go to office just to create an account online. Everything is being submitted and verified online. Just prepare the required document, take a clear photo or of them, upload it to your account, and wait within 24 hours for verification. Unlike other financial institutions, you have to wait for weeks before you got your account verified. Plus, most of them is requiring a minimum deposit amount, which you will not encounter with BigExpress Pro. In BigExpress Pro, deposit and withdrawals are being processed within 1 to 3 hours. Any amount in peso or in coin, as long as within your account limit, it will be surely processed within 1 to 3 hours. You can fund PH to your verified BigExpress Pro account in 2 ways. You can transfer it through your mobile banking app to our Union Bank account. If you don't have bank account, you can still fund your BigExpress Pro account if you go to the nearest remittance center like Palawan Express Padala, LBC, and Cebuana Luiler, or you can transfer the funds from the GCash account to our account. For our system security, I mentioned earlier that our in-house development team were the one who developed the system. That means we are not relying with any third-party provider who maintain the system securities and system operation. It is our own. We are the one who invested a lot with the technology that keeps the system secured by protecting and defending it against any kind of hacking attacks. The mission and vision of BigExpress is a focal point that helps to align everyone with the organization, and it ensures that everyone is working towards a single purpose. Many are wondering why we choose to establish a crypto company here in the Philippines. I say, why not? There is a good market here with the Filipinos lending and leading in the overseas remittances. We would like to give you the convenience and opportunity to grow your money using blockchain technology. We want to maximize the investment here in the country we aim to reduce excessive remittance fees by establishing a blockchain technology infrastructure. That is our mission and vision for next coming years. Here are some comparison between the traditional money transfer companies and BigExpress by the blockchain remittance. With the BigExpress, trading fee is only 0.2% from the total transaction, and PHP, the withdrawal fee is free. You can receive it to your any bank account remittance partner, and you can also pick it up in cash in our office. The process is real-time, while the maximum amount per transaction is 400,000 peso. Unlike other traditional money transfer companies, their maximum transaction amount is very low, but they're charging high fees. And also, good thing for the blockchain remittance, you can remit in any amount, any small amount, like 100 peso or so. Blockchain technology is becoming more common as a tool cross-border remittances globally. This is because it offers greater security, speed, and lower transaction costs compared to the traditional money transfer method. Here are the development and accomplishments of BigExpress throughout the years. The company was established here in 2016. On year 2017, we launched the beta service of BigExpress.ph. In the same year, we launched the actual version of BigExpress.ph and applied for the virtual currency exchange license in BSP. Year 2019, BSP granted us the provisional certificate of registration. While we are applying for a full license, BigExpress partnered with the Union Bank of the Philippines, DragonPay, transaction monitor provider, identity verification and authentication provider, and lastly, the KYC innovation tool provider. On September 6, 2020, BSP granted us the full license to operate as a cryptocurrency exchange company here in the Philippines. We are very thankful with the BSP Governor Benjamin Dicno and the Trustee Department and Director Mr. Metro Calabasan and the rest of his team for giving us the chance to continuously operate a crypto company business here in the country. We will do our best to comply with the government laws and regulation and to provide the best quality financial service to the Filipinos. With the industrialization and the involvement of technology, digital currencies are gaining an upper hand over others. What are its pros and cons? It is worth investing in 2020. Here you will find the major advantage of cryptocurrency. Benefits little and almost no processing fee when it's remit, and very fast the transaction speed and financial inclusion. One of the major use of the cryptocurrency is to send money across the borders. With the help of the cryptocurrency, the transaction fees paid by the user is reduced to a negligible or zero amount. It does so by eliminating the needs to third parties like Visa or PayPal to verify transactions. This removes the need to pay any extra transactions fee. Second, the cryptocurrency have always kept itself as an optimal solution for transactions. Transactions, whether international or domestic in cryptocurrency, are lightning fast. This is because the verification requires very little times to process, as there are very few barriers to cross. Last, the financial inclusion. VCs also have potential to expand financial inclusions. VCs may be used to facilitate and expand financial service for low-income Filipinos and those living in far-flung areas where traditional financial service providers like banks are unable to reach. Every budding technology will have a degree of uncertainty about the future, and the cryptocurrency is no different. While the popularity is growing and business are raised to keep up with growing demand for its use, it may be too early to know just how big of an impact cryptocurrency will have. As a potential financial revolution, it's worth to keeping an eye on and maybe investing in now before interest spreads worldwide. Here are the 10 countries who actively regulate cryptocurrency despite the pandemic: China, Germany, India, Japan, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Spain, South Korea, and United States. And we are also doing our business in Korea and Japan and Philippines. The Central Bank of the Philippines adopted a formal regulatory approach to cryptocurrency through the issuance of the Circular Number 944 back in 2017. A number of countries have warned about the cryptocurrency investment scams. In the Philippines, the Securities and Exchange Commission has issued several warnings. The United States has also been involved in several crypto-related cases. Another country that likes to issue warning about the cryptocurrency is China. The National Internet Finance Association published a notice on Thursday regarding the risk associated with cryptocurrency. South Korea has also started a pilot program for its national digital currency. The Bank of Korea announced the launch of this pilot program on Monday, April 6. This announcement followed the approval of the bill by the Korean government to regulate cryptocurrency. Japan approved its 23rd crypto exchange operator. Germany published guideline in offering crypto custody service. India is working on a crypto regulation. Just how volatile is Bitcoin? Have you ever wondered how much money you have right now if you bought Bitcoin in its early years? Historical data says that the value of the one BTC was less than 0.01 USD in May 2010. It wasn't until between February and April 2011 when Bitcoin prices reached $1 that's less than the price of a cup of coffee in most places. More surprising, however, it is the extreme price plunge it experienced 6 years after. On December 15, 2017, Bitcoin's price soared incredibly higher at roughly $70,900 to nearly 20 grand US dollar. On December 17, 2017, unfortunately, the price rapidly declined below 14,000 US dollar starting December 22, 2017. Apart from being classified as being an exceptional and unique kind of digital currency, these major price swings are also one of the biggest reasons why Bitcoin is unceasingly gaining the spotlight in the crypto and financial markets today. Just like any other volatile asset, Bitcoin's highly volatile nature undeniably has had its fair share of massive income returns for some. And now I will share with you on how you can create an account with Express Pro without having to leave your house. It is being done online. Here's a video presentation on how to create an account with the Express Pro.
sound.
So Brian, is that it? Is there a second video?
Yes. Yes, it's just playing without music now. That's good. Right. Here are the express the limits for the customer per KYC levels. For level 1, a client cannot deposit and withdraw since he or she completed the email verifications only. The customer that was KYC level 2 verified were the ones who completed the mobile verification, personal information, and uploaded complete documents in his or her accounts. Here are the deposit limits per transaction. 400. Here are the deposit and withdrawal limits. The limit is 400,000 peso. The If a client wants to trade in BigExpress Pro, these are the existing fees. Deposit of PHP and any coins are free of charge. Also, we do not charge any fees during PHP withdrawals. Here are the fees for coin withdrawal for the BTC 0.002, for the ETH 0.02, and for the XRP1. For the transaction fee, BigExpress charged 0.2% to 0.12% per transactions. It is automatically deducted in the buyer and the seller's account after a completed transactions. I'd like to share with you that we have a total of 10,000 plus users starting from the day we launched BigExpress Pro, which is year 2019 to present. Here's the actual price of the coins listed in our platform at this exact moment. One Bitcoin is now for 514,386 pesos. Ethereum costs 17,085 pesos now. And while the Ripple price is 11.63 pesos only. This slide contains how many times a customer downloaded our mobile application in Play Store and in the App Store. As you can see, BigExpress Pro app had a total number more than 12,000 numbers of downloads, and our satisfied client rated BigExpress Pro 4.6 out of 5-star ratings. Here are some of the positive feedbacks that we received from our clients. These feedbacks helps us to improve our service, and it helps us to measure customer satisfaction. We use those feedbacks in adjusting our business to fit to our customers' needs more accurately. BigExpress also developed a blockchain payment solution called BigPay. The BPay is the payment solution work by the blockchain. Accept crypto, get crypto or fiat payments. No very low fees, low transaction fees, and can be downloadable reports on demand, and real-time balance and transaction history and live exchange rate. It's like first checkout have this kind of features. I want to share with you a famous saying from Benjamin Graham: successful investing is about managing risk, not avoiding it. Let's say you decide on investing 10 grand on your personal finance into your new business or even crypto. It's a risky investment decision. So before you invest more time and more money in an investment, consider how you can manage your risk. Before I end my presentation, I want to say that no matter how serious and sad we are these past months because of the result of the pandemic, there are upsides as well. Therefore, always look on the bright side of life. Let's not forget those and make the best of what the crisis gives us. As the good or SWOT analysis tells us, there are not only threats but also opportunities. Thank you for all being taking the time to patiently listen to what I'm saying. I wish you all blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, and thank you for the positive message. We all need positivity these days. Yes. So can we start off our Q&A with you, since you're already there and the presentation is kind of fresh in our minds. First of all, cryptocurrency, we've been reading about it, we've been hearing about it, but it's so new and very specific. I guess my question would be, how do you plan to entice or attract more OFWs to start looking at your company, for example, and you mentioned some seminars that you'd like to offer them.
Yes, we will
Is this
keep
part of your strategy? Yeah, please go ahead.
We keep trying to educate about the blockchain, and because that's why we get the office right in front the DFA. So many OFWs are applying the passport there, and we are doing the free printing service and educate them what is the blockchain. And we are focused on the Korea and Japan, Singapore, who are now regulating the crypto and partnership with them. So the OFW can send their money very cheap and fast.
Yes, and what assurance? Their data privacy, their hacking concerns. How can you assure them that this is actually very safe?
Yeah, it's very safe for the blockchain itself, because other centralized data, like the control, it can be hacked when you have the one centralized data center. But for the blockchain, every user share the data, so it can be it's very hard to prevent the data or hacking. So, and also we are investing a lot in Korean side. We have the most advanced technology about the blockchain, so we are keep trying to be more secure the way.
And are you like Lito Villanueva with the RCBC group and this Cartech app? Are you also open to partnerships?
Yeah, we are also always open to partnership with the remittance companies, and we can do what we can do, reduce the fees.
And perhaps the recruitment industry, because one of the largest associations are here right now through Raquel.
Yes, we are keep hiring, and I want to give many chance to the Filipinos have the IT job and in our company, and know more about the future industry.
Okay, thank you, Brian, and also thank you for really supporting this webinar.
Thank you.
We'll move on to DDG Lina. Ma'am, are you still here? From TESDA?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Nako. One of my favorite agencies because TESDA used to be the NMYC, which during my dad's time, that was during the Marcos time, it was the forerunner of TESDA. So I do have some questions, ma'am, about, well, first of all, the challenge of getting more OFWs to download an app and actually use it. Because I saw that in your data, marami pa, no? I mean, out of millions of OFWs, parang 75,000 yung nakita kong figure if my memory is right. So, what do you see are the difficulties for them to, parang hindi second nature ba sa kanila yung nagda-download ng app? Is that one of the hurdles?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, only 6,000 of OFWs have already registered in our app for yung enrollment for training. So that's the reason why we have OFW desk, and this OFW desk are coordinating directly with OFW organizations in the different provinces. Maganda yung may mga provinces na merong OFW organization, so madali ang coordination. Like I was told in Pangasinan, meron daw doon, there is an OFW organization there. So our OFW desk and the provincial director directly coordinates with the organization. So mas madali. In some cases, we coordinate directly with the provincial governor because kaya nga we cannot depend on the enrollment via the app alone. So we go directly, and we also have malasakit centers in the airport. Meron tayo dito sa NAIA. So we have a team that welcomes our OFWs. Binibigyan sila ng flyers, paano sila makakapag-enroll sa amin. So doon pa lang sa airport, sinasalunan natin. And we will soon have also a center in other airports. Sa Clark, okay na po. Hopefully within this month, we will be able to establish our center there. So we will have a team of TESDA people there in Clark Airport to welcome. So pinayagan na po kami ng Clark doon, ng Clark International Airport. So nagkaroon na, they already inspected the area last week. So madali. So that we have the app as a platform for enrollment, and we also have the desk in the different provinces and regions of the country that can cater to the needs of the OFWs. And we have the airports para salong-salo natin sila. And aside from that, we regularly meet with the OFW community.
Yeah, like Bulacan is very well organized din, ha? Every town has an OFW
yes,
federation.
Yeah. As we speak, I think there is an ongoing event in Bulacan. OFW learners and their dependents are currently having a ceremony, parang symbolic awarding of TESDA scholarship grants.
Yes. We have a question from a former OFW. Paano daw po siya maka-apply as one of your trainers?
Kung nasaan po siya, dapat ang aking email address ay lcsarmiento@tesda.gov.ph. Pwede niya akong pwede siya mag-send ng email sa akin, and then I can refer him or her kung saan siya doon, so that the OFW can help us deliver training to our kababayans. Kagaya nung sinabi ko kanina si Engineer Bong Falyar, na-meet namin siya sa isang Zoom meeting. I don't know if you are there, but then nandun siya and he offered his services. So ngayon, nakakatuwa, dalawang klase yung hinahandle niya together with TESDA.
Yun yung sa scaffolding ba, ma'am?
Scaffolding
I actually attended a Zoom seminar on scaffolding offered by TESDA. And sabi ko nga, paano ko napasok dito? But I stayed on kasi it was really fascinating. Okay, from our labor beat reporter, William Dipasupil, Ma'am, how many displaced and repatriated OFWs have availed of the TESDA program, and are they required to personally attend the retooling? But you mentioned it's all online na, di ba?
Not all online. We have 71 online programs. By the way, yung na-flash pala kanina, yung
Okay.
top 10, it's not the online, top 10 online, but some of them are online. But yun yung mga favorite courses, regular courses natin. We have 71 courses online. But for the regular courses, TESDA is implementing a blended learning program. So ibig sabihin pag blended, may online portion and then there is a face-to-face portion. So now that we are still in the GCQ in Metro Manila, puro online portion pa lang ang pwede natin. We can only conduct the face-to-face training when we are already in the MGCQ. But neighboring regions are already MGCQ, kaya pwede na sila face-to-face. Opo.
Ayun.
So, yun lang. Kailangan. But we have full online. Ang full online namin, kagaya ng language, that's full online. Bookkeeping, meron po.
One of our resource person, sabi po niya, they want to know from TESDA your plans kasi yung mga domestic workers bound for Hong Kong daw have a problem with the assessment or getting their assessment certificates dito po sa NCR. Your response, ma'am?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Kasi sa NCR, GCQ tayo under IATF Resolution number 47. Be in MGCQ for us to be able to conduct already relax the requirements. We have 3 modes of assessment. First, yung bago, those new applicants for national certificates, they really need assessment. So kailangan nilang pumunta sa isang assessment center para magkaroon ng assessment. But since Manila is still Metro Manila is still GCQ, they can go to neighboring provinces like Bulacan. It's already MGCQ or Pampanga, and then Cavite. Number 2, is portfolio assessment. Portfolio assessment is for those who have already experience in domestic work. For example, nagkatulong or nagkasambahay sa isang pamilya dito sa Pilipinas, and if they can get certificate of work experience, pwede na sila pumasok sa portfolio assessment. So hindi kailangan, kahit sarado pa yung ating assessment center sa Metro Manila, pwede na sila portfolio assessment. From 5 years work experience, ni-reduce na namin 2 years para doon na sila sa portfolio. And we are giving this for free. So, ang kailangan lang doon, they have to fill up an application form and then they have to forward to us a video of paano ba nila ginagawa. So, ganun yung portfolio assessment, napakadali. And they just have to email portfolio.co@tesda.gov.ph. Yun yung kanilang yun po ang email address ng kung nagko-conduct ng portfolio assessment for 5 years. If there is so kailangan lang yung evidence na ginamit ng 2 years and then a picture. Ganun lang po. And assessment is free.
Okay, so
For TESDA.
napaiksi na talaga. Napaiksi na.
Pinaiksi na
So,
ho.
we can see the flexibility.
Yeah.
Oo.
Pinaiksi na. This is
Alright.
the clamor of our friends from yung mga recruitment agencies, mga service exporters. Nakiusap sila sa amin in some Zoom meetings that we had last month. Baka naman pwede yung 5 years gawing 2 years. At nakinig po si Secretary La Peña, ginawa niyang 2 years and 5 years.
Okay. Since it's related, maybe we can ask Raquel of
Tama po ba, DJ Lina? It just started 2 weeks because for the past month we were the PRAs were having meetings, several meetings with TESDA. So bago lang po na ano. Kaya lang po meron pong tanong doon regarding doon sa renewal na kailangan ng pictures because especially those coming from Middle East or any part, bawal ho ang nagpi-picture sa loob ng bahay. So wala ho silang picture na maipapakita as evidence. So ano ho ang solusyon dito?
Pag-renewal, ang kailangan lang is certificate of employment. Hindi kailangan ng picture. Yung picture, yung video na nagtatrabaho ka sa bahay, kailangan lang yon para sa portfolio assessment. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka pa nagkaroon ng NC ever.
Okay.
Portfolio is actually a recognition of prior learning. Parang may experience ka na, nire-recognize natin yung experience mo. So hindi ka na mag-undergo ng actual assessment. Kaya kailangan patunayan mo na ikaw ay marunong. So ipapakita mo yun sa pamamagitan ng isang video na doon na nagtatrabaho sa bahay. And then titingnan nyo ng mga assessors. And then tatawagan sila sa phone or maybe siguro sa whatever social media accounts kung paano sila mako-contact. So may mga itatanong sa kanila. Yun yung hindi na sila dadaan ng assessment. Yung renewal, nagkaroon na siya ng assessment before, nabigyan na siya ng national certificate, nag-expire lang ang kanyang national certificate. So wala na, hindi niya kailangan. Ang need lang doon ay pakita lang niya yung certificate of employment niya na nagamit niya yung NC niya na nag-expire for 2 years. At saka namang yung picture or video, not necessarily naman sa bahay ng employer, pwede naman sa bahay nila. Or pwede naman sa, kung mari, baka naman sa embassy, merong kusina. Pwede doon sila. Hindi naman sinabi namin na sa bahay mismo ng employer eh. Kahit kaninong bahay pwede. Basta mapakita lang na marunong pala siyang magtimpla ng kape or whatever. Kung ano yung required competency.
So, DDJ, i-clarify ko lang po kasi kanina po when DDJ presented, sinulat ko po kasi. So, there are 3 modes of assessment. So, yung new applicants, which they should undergo.
Yeah.
Second is yung with 2 years experience from the 5 years.
Yes.
Kailangan nila ng portfolio assessment. Tapos yung number 3 is renewal, which is ang assessment po, certificate is valid for 5 years. But then, kung nagpaso na po yon, they have to renew it. At sinabi niyo po na they should show evidence. So, yung number 1, na nagamit nila for 2 years yung kanilang certificate. Number 2, yung pictures showing na sila ay nagtatrabaho talaga. So, ibig sabihin, ito pong picture na sinabi nyo doon sa number 3 goes to number 2. Tama po ba?
Teka, wait. Yung picture para sa renewal, picture ng tao. Yung picture ng tao na nagpaparenew. Yung number 2 na portfolio, yun yung nangangailangan ng ebidensya na marunong siya magtrabaho. Kasi ito first time siyang i-assess eh. So instead of going to an assessment center, patunayan niya lang na marunong siya. Ipapakita yung paano ba siya magtrabaho. Kasi hindi nga siya pupunta sa assessment center. So instead of going to an actual assessment center, pwede siya sa kahit kaninong bahay, sa bahay niya, o kahit kaninong bahay, o sa baka naman may space sa embassy na pwede doon mag-video na pakita kung paano siya magtrabaho. At yun po ang magiging basis ng mga assessors para i-grant siya ng NC, ng National Certificate, kahit hindi siya ma-assess. Dahil meron na siyang 2 taong experience.
Thank you rin,
Thank
Raquel,
you.
ha. Ma'am Lina, I also have a question, no? Kasi yung contact tracing, laging na sasabi sa media yan na there will be, I don't know, ilang thousands of jobs ba?
100,000 daw po, 100,000.
Wow, 100,000. And a lot of our OFWs na ngayon naghahanap ng trabaho are really interested, no? And so, do you see this as it's a new career ba to? Kasi if the pandemic will be with us for not just until the end of the year, but for, 2 years more. Do you see this as a new career for even our OFWs? Would you encourage them? And what are the job prospects here po?
Yes, ma'am. Yung contact tracing, talagang sa ngayon kasi kailangan 100,000 ang need ng mga LGUs na i-recruit or i-hire. So kulang na kulang po. So ito talaga, it can be a new career for our OFWs. And after, kunwari, nawala na yung pandemic, they can also use the certificate for other health-related qualifications. Kasi ang 15 days po itong aming contact tracing training yung pinaka-basic is about communication, no? So yung mga parabang kumbaga sa college general subjects. And then proceeding to the more specialized subjects towards the end of the training program. So magandang pasukan nila ito kasi talagang malaki yung need. There is a need for contact tracers nationwide para talaga matigil na natin itong COVID-19 dito sa ating bansa. And then later on, kung wala na silang, nawala na si COVID, pwede nilang pasukan naman yung other health-related activities. They can be barangay health workers. Ganun po.
Yeah, oo. Kasi kung, sabi nga nila, no, kung hindi COVID, baka mamaya meron na namang iba. Naku, wag naman sana. But, well, it's a fact of life na this is happening now. We also have a question for Kalito. Sir Lito?
Yes. Hello.
About the Discartec. And, do you see really more OFWs mastering yung fintech services digitally, and should this be included in the pre-departure orientation seminars, the mandatory seminars for every departing OFW? Ano po tingin nyo? Kasi parang dito na patungo ang mundo.
Yes, thank you. I think maganda yung tanong mo, Toots, no? Kasi this is really the emerging technology, di ba? So lahat na, in fact, alam natin na mas tech-savvy pa nga yung mga anak ng mga OFWs. In fact, they are the ones transacting on behalf of their parents, di ba? So tama ka, I think it's also a good time for us to have that collaboration with PASEI, that all of our departing overseas Filipinos would have that training, no? Kasi especially now, with the mandate of President Duterte, that all transactions in government must now be digital, no? So alam natin, pati ang DSP, yung ating fund transfers, you can transfer funds from one bank to another, ay digital na lahat, no? So interoperable siya. So I think to answer your question, I think this is really something that we can embed into the PASEI training because lahat ngayon, di ba, sabi nga, yung iba hindi na kailangan ng physical ATM card, at yung iba yung sa remittances, everything now is being done online. So dapat talaga merong kaalaman ang ating mga overseas Filipinos ng tungkol sa digital. At also, yung education on how to prevent yung mga cyber attacks, no, o yung mga cyber criminals na gustong magsamantala sa mga tao, no, nanloloko sa pagmamagitan ng online. So that's why I think part of the training is on how they will be able to be equipped with the basic knowledge on online security. Ano yung baka dapat gawin, ano yung dapat tingnan para hindi tayo maloko ng kung sino man na nagpapanggap sa online. Kasi alam mo, ang Pilipinas dati, di ba, alam natin, Toots, in 10 years ago, Philippines was regarded to be the texting capital of the world. Dahil wala nang gumagamit ng text, ngayon naman tayo naman yung the world's biggest or the capital in terms of the most number of social media posts, especially on Facebook. So talagang lahat ng tao, Pilipino, ay talagang gumagamit na ng digital. So talagang dapat, I think, kasama sa training ng PASEI. At usap na rin kami ni President Raquel na we will also have this collaboration with PASEI and Discartec for us to have that training as well.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Pati yung ethics din of how to use, no? Itong
Yes.
mga apps na ito because like I know people na hindi nagpapalit ng PIN number or they just use their birthdays or they share it, no?
Ay, buti sabi mo yan, Tutso, kasi alam mo ba sa isang research study, lumabas na ang kauna-unahang source ng fraud ay mismong yung customer, yung tao mismo. Kasi alam ko bakit, yung kanilang PIN number sa ATM, sinusulat sa likod ng ATM. O kaya yung kanilang tama ka nga, yung kanilang PIN number ay yung birthday nila. Okay? O kaya pag alam mo naman, marami rin tayong mga Pilipinong nagigipit, ang pinapansanla nila yung ATM, yung sangla ATM. So alam na rin nung lender kung ano yung ATM number niya. So kumbaga lahat 'yon sama-sama, kaya sabi nga natin dapat yung mismo magsimula ang seguridad, no, yung consciousness on security sa bawat isang customer, sa bawat Pilipino.
Thank you, Lito. And we are now at the point na syempre nagugutom na rin ang lahat. We need to move on with our day. It's a Friday. Happy weekend sa lahat. We'd like to thank again our resource persons, starting with Yusek Benjo Benavides earlier, TESDA Deputy Director General Lina Sarmiento, Mr. Brian Kang of B Express Pro, my friend Raquel Bracero of Pasay, Lito Villanueva. Lito, ha, magpartner tayo, ha?
Yes, definitely.
And of course, we'd like to thank the editors, the entire staff of the Manila Times for coming up with this very useful, relevant webinar, creating new opportunities for OFWs. And special thanks to my good friend and prayers to his dad, who's very close to me, Dante Klink ang II, President and CEO of the Manila Times. So with that, thank you, and we hope to see you again. Keep safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Audio Jungle.